Today we're diving into a story where billions of dollars, cutting-edge AI, and the future of war all collide. This is about Silicon Valley's new, and let's just say, very complicated relationship with the Pentagon.
It's not every day you hear the CEO of a company like OpenAI describe a huge deal with the US government like this. That was Sam Altman, and he was apologizing to his own employees. So what on earth happened to make this whole thing look so, quote, opportunistic and sloppy?
Okay, so let's get into it. Because the backstory for that apology actually starts with OpenAI's biggest competitor, a company called Anthropic. And they had just taken a very public, very loud, and very principled stand against the Pentagon.
Okay, check out this chain of events because it is just wild. First, the US government essentially bans Anthropic. They slap them with this supply chain risk label because the company wouldn't budge on some of its ethical red lines. Then, literally just hours later, who swoops in? OpenAI announcing they've got their own deal. The timing? Well, to put it gently, it was not great.
The backlash was, you can imagine, pretty intense. So Sam Altman had to scramble and do some damage control. He announced these new restrictions, promising that OpenAI wouldn't sign new contracts with spy agencies like the NSA, all to prevent its tech from being used for mass surveillance. Now, if that sounds familiar, well, it should. It's basically one of the exact same principles that Anthropic had just been punished for.
So, on the surface, this looks like a simple story, right? One company gets smacked down for having morals, and its competitor just stumbles in to take its place. But when you start to look just a little bit closer, that clean line between the good company and the bad company, it starts to get real blurry real fast.
So these were the two big things for Anthropic. This is where they drew the line in the sand. First, you can't use our AI, which is called Claude, to spy on your own citizens. And second, you can't put Claude in weapons that make life or death decisions without a human pulling the trigger. That was their moral high ground, and that's what led to this huge fight with the government.
Now here's where the whole story takes a fascinating turn, because there's a little detail that came out after all this public drama, a detail that kind of changes everything. While Anthropic was out there publicly fighting the Pentagon on principle, behind closed doors, they were chasing a very, very different kind of deal.
$100 million. That is a whole lot of money. And that's the prize for a Pentagon challenge to develop a really specific, really cutting-edge, and yeah, really controversial piece of military technology.
What are we talking about? We're talking about voice-controlled, autonomous drone swarms. Fleets of drones that can operate on their own. This is the absolute bleeding edge of AI warfare, and it's a technology that walks right up to that fully autonomous weapons red line that Anthropic said it would never, ever cross.
And here's the kicker. Both of them were in the running. Yep, despite its big public moral stance, Anthropic put in a bid to help develop this exact technology. Word from inside is that their CEO isn't against autonomous weapons in theory. He just doesn't think the tech is reliable enough. Yet.
So with the moral lines now completely smudged, let's just pull the camera back and look at the bigger picture here. This isn't just about two companies. This is a full-on AI arms race, and pretty much every major player in Silicon Valley is involved.
And this table just lays out the gap between image and reality perfectly. You've got Anthropic, the supposed moral rock, bidding on drone tech while its AI is reportedly already being used in attacks on Iran. You've got OpenAI, the pragmatic partner, literally putting its own employees on military teams. Then there's Elon Musk's xAI, playing the role of the patriot with direct access to classified networks. And don't forget the quiet ones, Google and Meta, whose tech is all over military operations through their cloud services.
So what was the real fight about then? Well, it wasn't really about what to prevent, it was about how to prevent it. Anthropic wanted a legal fight. They demanded these super explicit clauses in their contracts, a hard line in the sand. OpenAI went a different route. They were fine with broader legal language, but they wanted technical control, meaning they would build in software guardrails and, this is key, put their own people on the inside to watch how the AI is being used. And that right there, that's the heart of this whole thing. This was never just about the technology. It's a massive power struggle over who gets to write the ethical rulebook for AI in war. Is it going to be a private tech company, or is it going to be the elected government?
This is how the government saw it. The defense secretary called Anthropic's stance a betrayal, basically saying, who is this private company to tell the US military what it can and can't do for national security?
From their point of view, a company's terms of service should never get to trump the U.S. Constitution.
The government's attacks got personal, and they got personal fast. The Undersecretary of Defense straight up said Anthropic CEO has a God complex. The whole debate got spun into a culture war. You were either on the side of patriotic duty, or you were with the woke tech execs in Silicon Valley.
So where does all this leave us? Well, in this new AI Cold War, the battle lines are way, way messier than they look. And the heroes and villains, they might not be who you think they are.
Let's just recap the uncomfortable truth here. You've got Anthropic, the company that presents itself as this moral rock, secretly bidding on autonomous drone projects. Then you have OpenAI, desperately trying to look ethical while it builds the backbone for the most advanced military on Earth. And the scariest part? This isn't theoretical anymore. This AI Cold War is being fought right now on active battlefields.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway. In this crazy race for AI supremacy, every single major tech company is involved. The whole idea of a moral high ground is pretty much an illusion. And the rules of engagement for this new kind of war, they haven't even been written yet. The tech is already on the battlefield, but the clear legal regulations are nowhere in sight.